Ah yes, ISP routers, or what I like to call ISP hell. They're slow, not upgradable, tend to be the biggest e-waste once they eventually get replaced, as well as just fail out of nowhere at the worst time possible. But what if I told you there is a fix for that? Would you believe me? Today, I'm going to be putting you in charge. We are going to be building a custom-built router, which is fully serviceable and upgradable. I'm going to cover what you'll need to get started, as well as show you how to set up OpenSense to get you running in no time. Let's get into it. One quick thing, I want to thank you guys so much for the support on the Arch Linux video in terms of views and comments. It means a whole lot to me. You guys are awesome. Anyway, let's begin. Let's talk parts. I have some configurations linked down in the video description below, with optional options like Wi-Fi. Oh yeah, and if you do decide to buy the 1 gigabit NIC with a single port, you will definitely need a network switch, but those can be pretty cheap too. I also have some solid options linked down in the video description as well. With that out of the way, let's get into building. So let's in fact make sure that we have everything. So for one, we have our network card, check. We have our switch, check. And we also have a PC, which in my case is actually one of the rescues. There we go. I'm gonna be using this Acer here. As you can kind of see, it's actually not that bad, eh? We have, well, more than enough slots. Oh yeah, and one thing I also forgot. Check. Well, first power on test. Let's see what she do. Hopefully she doesn't blow up. I don't have money for another main board or motherboard at the moment. So please don't blow up. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna plug her in. And then the other end I'm gonna plug into an outlet. Okay. Booting. We have light. No catastrophic failure, but does USB work? Yep. It do be working. Nice. So this thing is fully configured now. I actually forgot one thing, which I kind of have to now do after the fact. So what we're gonna do is I in fact have a fan, and I'm gonna put that fan into it just to make sure that it's like getting enough airflow, because I don't know, it's just generally better if the system gets enough airflow and we don't have to worry about it overheating or something. And yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. And then in 3, 2, 1, the chassis is back on and the fan is installed. And we're now ready to install OpenSense. So let's go ahead and do that. So now that we are back on my desktop here, let's go ahead and create the OpenSense USB install. So I'm going to go into Google here and we're going to type OpenSense spelled like this. Go to the first link and there we go. It's also linked down below just in case you guys don't want to search for the link. It's down below. And we are going to click on download. So you will need a USB flash drive if your system doesn't have IPMI. If it does, you know, you can basically use that, but in my case, my system doesn't have it, so we will need a USB flash drive. I'm going to use the VGA. Then we'll do download, Oh, forbidden. Why? Why? Fine. I guess I'm grabbing it from OpenSense directly then. There we go. And now it's going to download. As you can see, it's going quite fast. The file is rather small. And then we will have to get a USB flash drive. And you will also need a program called Balena Etcher on your system, just like last time where we used, Arch Linux. We're going to be using the same flash utility again. Alright, so now we are going to click flash from file. We grab the ISO or the image file, select our flash drive, click on select, then flash. Yes. And now it's going to be making the USB flash drive. So I'll meet you then when it's finished. And just like that, the USB is now finished. So now we can basically go ahead and I can show you how to configure OpenSense. So let's go. Alright, so I'm gonna turn it on. You wanna find out what your boot menu is. In my case, it's F12. So let's press F12 a couple times here. Oh, and it ignored that. Why did it do that? That's not what you're supposed to do. Why did you ignore it? It isn't F12, then it's probably F11. So let's see. Yep, there we go. And now I'm going to select my flash drive, and as you can see now, we are in a menu. There we go. So it's right now basically booting up. That's what we're doing. Now let it go through the boot up procedure. Don't press any buttons. So as you can see, it says, welcome to OpenSense. It's running in live mode from the install media. Please log in as root to continue in live mode or as installer to start the installation. And that is what we are going to be doing. So I'm going to log in as installer, and the password is open, spelled OPN, and then sense. And then the second we type that password, as you can see, we're now here. We have to select our key map. In my case, it's German. We'll select. We don't need to test that because it's right, and I'm gonna do that. And now here's the important step. So you can either install with ZFS or UFS. I'm going to use ZFS. And then we just select the SSD. We don't want no redundancy because realistically the chance of it failing is pretty low. So let's do that. Then I'll say yes. And now the partition of it is going to get deleted, and it will basically now begin by cloning over the current system. So I'm just going to shut up now, and you guys should be able to just see it, and I'll be back. So now you guys will be able to see here, we in fact get the option if we want to change the root password. I would recommend you guys do that. use a secure password. In my case, I'm going to be using one which is very secure. There we go. And now I have set a password, so it will show up in a second, and then we can go to reboot. Once it shows back up, there it is, and then I can go to complete installation, and then we want to reboot. Now you should eject your USB flash drive, which I'm going to be doing. There we go. So I've just ejected it. Now it will restart. The PC should reboot. There we go. Just restarted. You don't need to press anything, it will auto start. If you have an SSD like I do, you can see it goes pretty fast, so we're just gonna let that run through. Wow, that actually goes quite fast, holy heavens. What the crap? That actually is kind of fast. I kind of actually get why it would be saying, you know, RE0 is down due to the sake that I haven't plugged it in. Now we have OpenSense installed on our hardware. Now before you try to, you know, navigate to the address right there, you can see here 192.168.1.1. Don't navigate to that yet. If your adapter is wrong, like in my case, you want to type in the username root, then you want to type your password you just specified, and there we go. And then we go to assign interfaces. No, we don't want to configure lags right now. Do we want to configure VLANs? No. I have to do that again. I messed up. No. No. And then WAN is RE0. And that is what? RE1. There we go. And we don't need an optional. So I'm going to do yes, that's correct. And now it's going to be configuring it once again. And then I'm gonna plug in Ethernet so we actually get a connection. There we go. So now I am going to go ahead and first of all, let's go ahead and reload all services just to make sure that they're up to date and that we actually get, you know, the, web interface once we finish. Alright, so now that that's set, we can actually log back out. So that's what I'm going to do here. We'll just log back out. And now you can basically unplug any peripherals like your monitor and things. All this PC essentially needs now is just an Ethernet connection and power. And of course, if you have the switch from, you know, that I've mentioned earlier, go ahead and plug that in. Then basically plug in the LAN port into one of the ports, it doesn't matter which. Now if you have a 48 port switch or something bigger, then this is not the video for you because you will have to do some configuration to get it working. But those big switches, those data center switches actually can do that. I'm going to just quickly plug in Ethernet and then we'll meet you back in the web interface. So now we can navigate to 192.168.1.1, and the second we open that, go to advanced, go to continue. Welcome to the OpenSense web UI. Now, by no means am I an expert when it comes to all this stuff, so don't expect me to know, you know, each and everything about it. But we want to log in as root, and then we want to use the password we specified. And there you go. So now we're in the dashboard and you can see, I have 16 gigabytes of RAM. Yeah, you could say that's overkill for a router, but especially when stuff gets all trafficy, you might want to have something like that. So this basically concludes pretty much most of what I had to show for in this video. And yeah, let's hand back over to myself in the later time and end the video. And there we have it, basically. A simple installation of OpenSense, building our own router. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, maybe share it with some friends, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!